beauties. It's your girl Laura coming back with you guys. And for those who are new to my channel, thank you. Thank you for clicking on my video. I really do appreciate it. I am a health and fitness coach. I coach women all around the world on how to transform their minds so their bodies will align. I'm going to be getting real personal, letting you guys know exactly what I went through my journey. Okay, so some of these things can be a little bit unsettling, but out of all of that, I'm going to let you know the techniques that helped me save my life, so you guys can go ahead and get started on yours today. Okay, so let's dive in. There is this dude that just moved in, and he is fine. You hear me? Fine. And where I would upload my videos, I think, you know, I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason. And every time I upload my videos, he's somewhere in the vicinity. Either he's A, taking my distraction, or B, encouraging me to do better on these videos. I don't know what it is, but he's fine. And I always take out this clip, but I'm gonna add it in here somewhere. I always take out this clip. This man is fine. Okay, when I tell y'all he fine, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Okay, so now before we get into it, Lord is my shepherd. I shall. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Okay. Anyway, before we get into it, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to go ahead and grab a pen and a pad, okay? Because I want you guys to jot down these techniques and these tools, because like I said, you don't need to go anywhere and buy nothing. You don't need nothing, you know, purchase any this, that, and the third. These techniques are gonna be something that you can implement right now within your journey. Also, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can receive free tips and tools on a weekly basis. I upload every Sunday. Hit that notification bell so you will be notified, okay, that I have uploaded, and you will be able to go ahead and get that video, okay? So before we go into anything further and this fine man take my distraction, let's go ahead and get into this video. You can tell already from the beginning of this video, this is not gonna be a normal weight loss transformation motivational video. It's not gonna be sad. My energy is totally different now from the past. I've healed. I've done the healing work, so I'm not as emotional as I have been in the past, because I hadn't let go of a lot of things. I was still holding on to a lot of things, so I came up within emotion. So neither here nor there. I struggled with weight all of my life. As a child, I used to go into the refrigerator and take bites out of the butter. I used to be the child that would eat dinner and still go upstairs and I used to cut off blocks off the cheese. I'm a cheese fan, okay? For those, I know there's plenty of people out there that can relate. But I used to cut off blocks of the cheese and put it in the microwave and just heat it up and just eat it like that. At school, I used to eat my lunch and eat, you know, other kids' lunch, you know, food that their leftovers. I used to go to daycare. Even when I was young, oh my goodness, wow. I used to go to daycare and I would eat my food, and then the food that was, the leftover food that was thrown in the garbage from the other children, I used to later on go in when no one was around and take the food out of the garbage, and I would eat it, the leftovers. Okay, so food, I was addicted to food. even at that young age. And people don't think that, you know, food can be an addiction. Food, just like drugs and alcohol, food can be an addiction, and I was addicted. Not only was I addicted to food, food was my comfort. I found comfort in food. So situations that I would go through emotionally and mentally, food was my comfort. It was like my blanket, like a teddy bear or something like that. So I use food in all different areas of my life. So anyway, as I got older, I wasn't the child that was tormented or bullied a lot. There were certain situations, like with boys, I would go through situations with boys and things like that. I was very likable. I have friends. I have friends, and I was just, my personality kind of carried me through school. People, you weren't bullied, and I was always the biggest child, and I knew I was always the biggest. And the things that, it wasn't the kids that hurt me, it was my mental space that was hurting me the most, because I knew I was bigger than everybody. I knew I couldn't wear certain clothes, and my clothes were always, having to be bought at in the bigger girl section, or, sometimes even when I had uniforms, I had to get boy uniform clothes. I couldn't get girl uniform clothes, and, things like that. Like as pants or something like that, so I realized that, and that is what more so hurt me. And the fact that, they have a boyfriend, and there was a possibility that I didn't have any kind of boyfriends through school at all, and I equated that to me being bigger. Now, the boys were my friends. I have boyfriends, they were my friends. They didn't treat me different, because I feel like when I was in school and stuff like that, they saw a confidence in me, because I knew that if I went to school and I had a lower confidence or held myself in a different manner, that I would be treated that way. At a young age, I already knew that, because of teachings, with, at home and stuff like that. So I never was bullied. I never had that issue. It wasn't until I had got to, I think it was like, probably I had already graduated. Even when I graduated and went to college and stuff like that, I never had an issue with men. It was my self-esteem that put me in bad positions with men. So it was, I had guys that I dealt with, but the way they dealt with me was totally different than they would probably deal with someone who had a higher level of confidence. My confidence was not high. No matter what people saw within, my confidence wasn't high. And I love my father, so don't get me wrong. He wasn't really there in the picture as much as I had desired with him, so I had a detachment with that area. So there was a buildup of different things, as I got older. Those were things I would, have dealt with. And so my weight did play a part, in with dealing with men and things like that, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. And I don't blame them at this point, because I've healed. But it was something that I had to deal with. It was something I definitely had to deal with, and now I know why, I went through that, and why things happen. But neither here nor there. I'm a stronger person at the end. So, and we'll get into all of that. We'll definitely get into that. But right now, I just want to tell you the story. So my early 20s, mid 20s, I started really picking up weight. Now, mind you, I had tried everything. So even during this course, you know, that even in high school, and I believe even before high school, I had tried different ways to lose weight. Slim Fast, low carb, Atkins, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, you name it, I've probably tried it. I've tried keto. I've tried, oh my gosh, I've tried everything. There was even a time where I tried what was it? I forget the name of the little pill that's supposed to speed up your metabolism. It's natural. If it comes to me, I'll put a picture in so you guys can see what I was talking about. But if you name it, I tried it. Okay, everything except for surgery. That's one thing that I did not try, and I never wanted to try. That never even crossed my mind. I never wanted to try. But there was a point in time that I had lost a lot of weight. I lost like up to 80 pounds. That was when I had, and I'll show you guys a picture on when I had lost that 80 pounds, and I was like so proud of myself. That was the most weight I had ever lost doing anything, and I kept it off for a good amount of time. I had ended up moving to Egypt, and after I lived there for about 6 months, and during that period of time, I had gained that weight, almost all of it back. And then my mid-20s, I had picked up weight, a lot of weight. And this is when I came back from Egypt and was going through a lot of different things mentally and spiritually, and struggling with a lot of different situations, and struggling with finding and knowing and who I was and where I fit in at. That was the time I went into depression. A lot of people didn't even know I was in depression. I was drinking a lot, smoking cigarettes. I was drinking about almost a fifth, if not almost every day, a fifth of liquor, and the next day going to work. So I was what they call a functional alcoholic. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, was pre-diabetic, and I hid all of this from my family. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't let anyone know what I was going through health-wise. I just kept it a secret. I didn't want anyone to know. I was a little bit ashamed. But yeah, I was definitely ashamed. Then I had a small heart attack. And that was a little bit frightening. Now, mind you, during that time, I was struggling with the health issues and everything like that. I had peaked. I was at 407 pounds, okay? I was at my heaviest weight. And during that time, I literally barely could walk long distances. I barely could walk up my stairs without breathing heavy, to get to my apartment. I couldn't stand for long periods of time. I had to lean on something. When I was going grocery shopping, I had to lean on the cart, and I always had to have a cart. 407 pounds was my heaviest weight. I was killing myself. I was killing myself daily. I didn't even care if I woke up the next day. There was times I would just pray to God to just take me away. Just let me die. Just let me die. I was broken. And I didn't know what the hell to do and how to get out of that situation. I stayed in that area for a while. This was definitely my darkest moment. I was struggling with depression, heavy depression. A lot of people didn't even realize it. And from the outside looking in, I looked happy, but I was dealing with so much. I had been through sexual abuse as a child, but even as into my adulthood, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse. And then not only that, I was putting myself through alcohol abuse and spiritual abuse. This was a dark time for me. I was going through, series of emotional eating. I struggled with binge eating. I hoarded food. I would go to family gatherings and eat as if, anybody else, I didn't want them. I was hiding the fact that I overate. So I would eat, a portion, and then I would take food with me as if I was going to eat it the next day, leftovers, going to, family outings or even out to eat. And then as soon as I get home, I would, stop at the liquor store, get more liquor, drink the liquor, and then eat all the food and whatever else that I wanted to eat until I was just couldn't eat anymore. Just stuffed, overly stuffed. And that was my life. 7 days a week. That was the life I was living. So I had my heart attack. It was a small one. It was at home. And I didn't even want to go to the hospital. I did not want to go to the hospital. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going to the hospital. The symptoms were, it was a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie. I was in fear, and I already knew what I needed to do, and the doctors just let me know what I needed to do, that I needed to basically get my shit together. But even then, I still didn't. So that goes to show you, you have to be ready. There's nothing that anyone can tell you to make you make the decision. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. So, August 2016 came, and I was in a convenience store, and this little girl, I was getting some liquor, and this little girl looked at me, and she looked at her dad, and she looked me dead in my eyes, and then she looked at her dad, she's like, "Look, Daddy, she's fat." And her dad didn't say anything, and it wasn't that she said, I wasn't upset at what she said. I wasn't hurt at what she said. It kind of was like, Laura, it was like a reality check. Like, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, Laura, you have got to do something. You are taking care of everyone else. You are, not taking care of you. You're helping and assisting, in so many different areas in your life. Working 2 jobs, you're, helping with your family, with your, your nieces, and, just you're helping your friends, giving them advice, and, you're doing all these other little areas of your life. You are taking care of it, but you're neglecting yourself. Who's gonna take care of Laura? Laura needed to take care of Laura. That was the only way that things were gonna change. So I was online, and I found this amazing individual by the name of Obana. Awesome. He is a great individual. Great man. He had an online program, and I was like, what the heck, so I reached out to him, and he provided me with a nutrition plan and a workout plan. And he had an online group, full of other individuals that were on his program and things like that, which is awesome, for the support and everything like that. And I did his program and lost a lot of weight. I lost a great amount of weight on his program. And it wasn't so much that the nutrition was totally different than what I did. The key component with that was the support. And I advise everything. That's why I said, I believe in my last video, support is major. Support is huge. So it was a low carb meal plan. And I was in that, I knew this time something had to change. And during that time before when I was getting to, starting the journey and everything like that, I really sat down with myself, and I had a talk with Laura. I said, something has to be different from the last time. Okay, something has to be different. So as I was starting it, I didn't really grasp the mental aspect of it until about, I would say I was halfway, maybe about halfway through my journey, and I kind of felt still torn, like something wasn't clicking until and it was that moment I knew that it was my mental aspect that needed to change, because I was still doing some things that would kind of pull me back into that other direction, and I knew that it was some things that I needed to heal and let go of, and that is when it took off for me. That's when it was like, you know how you think of the angels and it's like, ah, like just started singing to me like, you got it, like I got it. And when you know that you got it, it's like nothing can stop you. When I transformed my mind and I started aligning with my desires, everything just, it was clear. It was clear. So, these are the techniques that I utilized. Okay, so number one, you have to be willing to step out of the box, okay? I strongly suggest you do a mental diet. That means purging, letting go of those who do not serve a purpose any longer within you, your life, your journey. I don't care how difficult it is, be willing to do it, okay? Go through your social media. Anybody that you're following, anybody that you know are listening to on a regular day basis, if it is not in alignment with you and your journey and your desires, eliminate it, okay? You have to be willing to step out of the box and do things that you have never done to get to where you desire to be. 2, you have to be willing to identify your barriers and your triggers. So realize the things that trigger you, realize the things that are holding you back. Get a pen and paper, which you already should have, and write down the things that are triggering you. Write down the things that are holding you back, that are your barriers. Once you realize them and know, you take one at a time and deal with them one at a time. Do not overwhelm yourself with things. That's what happens usually in our journeys, and why we end up quitting is because we overwhelm ourselves and fill our plate up with things, a whole bunch of things at once, and then it sets us back instead of pushing us forward. Okay, so take your time, be easy on yourself, and deal with one thing at a time. Okay, but you have to start somewhere by identifying them. Number 3, you have to be willing to create a form of stability and inner peace. I assist my clients with what is called a morning kickoff, and we do not start our mornings without it. Gratitude, affirmations, and prayer. Okay. So number 4, release and rebuild. Okay, you have to be able to get rid of the old and bring in the new. Okay, so with this, you have to release those barriers, release those old ways, release those things. And there's special techniques that I utilize within my courses and teach my clients on how to release those things. But you have to be able to release and rebuild. Out with the old, in with the new. Number 5, you have to be willing to create your happiness right here in this very moment. Whatever it is that you need to do to create that peace, that joy, that happiness, that love, that feeling right now in this very moment, not after you lose the weight, not during you're losing the weight, not when you get on the scale, not when you fit those pants, but right now is what's going to take you the long haul. Because I guarantee you, once you lose that 10, that 15, that 20, that 30, that 40, that 50, that 60, you're always going to be seeking something more. Until you go within and find that peace and joy right here, right now, and be happy and motivated and loving yourself right now in this moment, until you do that, you will be seeking and searching something even after you lost that 100 pounds or that 150 pounds. Trust me. Okay, I've been in those shoes. I'm speaking from experience. So do that work right now. Number 6, you have to be willing to dive deep and begin your healing process. I can't express to you how important it is for you to deal with those situations that you have, you know, buried and not dealt with, because those are the same things that are preventing you from putting you first, when that is your deepest desire, is to put you first and to truly love you enough and know what it feels like and know what it really is to love you and put you first, and be okay with that. Be okay with that decision. And it isn't until you deal with those situations and heal them properly, then that is when, you know, those the skies will open, and everything will be clear to you, and you'll understand it, and it'll become a lifestyle change. It'll be your new lifestyle. You'll be able to do the things that you desire to do. So be willing to dive deep. It might be scary, but I promise you, on the other side of that fear is your success. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I want to ask you guys to go ahead and take some time and comment below and let me know whatever it is that you're currently struggling with, and I will respond. I respond on my Facebook platform, my Instagram platform, all of my social media platforms. I respond to all of my comments. I also would like you guys to go ahead and like and also share, so this can let the YouTube algorithm know that this video is beneficial and it will help and assist people. If you're interested in any of my coaching services, the link will be in the description box below, along with my social media platforms where you can go ahead and follow me on, so you can receive free tips and tools on the daily. I love you guys, and always remember, when you transform your mind, your body will align.